Hi, my name is Jessica Stonewall. My father is so rich that he could buy a few dozen towns in a couple of days, and I am his daughter, now forced to steal clothes from bums and glue myself a fake mustache. Why? I'll tell you about it right now. Here is the paradox. Rich people think happiness isn't about money. Poor people think it is. I am a child who grew up in a wealthy family. We've always been that way, for generations. All of the marriages in our family were made out of cold calculation, purely to strengthen the business in the marketplace. But at some point, the system had to break down, and it broke on me. My family is in the precious metals business. My father gave me jewelry every year with as many diamonds as my age. That day, I turned 17. I was on the list of the richest teenagers in town. Half the town of celebrities gathered at my mom's restaurant during a big, raucous party. I was still bored. I decided to have some lemonade and went outside to the pool. There, I saw a couple in love. They were kissing behind a wall and looking at each other with loving eyes. "Oh my God, is that you, Brianna?" The girl kissing the waiter was my cousin. She immediately pushed the boy away and he ran away. Your dad would kill you if he saw you with a beggar. "So don't tell anyone. We've been dating for a year now and I really like him, but I don't know how to tell my dad." What's it like having a simple relationship? It is so much more love and meaning than our calculating families. Her words hit me so hard. I felt sorry for my cousin. Her parents hated each other and everyone knew it, but they didn't divorce because of the business. I didn't want that fate for myself. I realized that on my birthday. Then I felt a burning sensation. It was so intense that, "Ah, it's hot!" I yelled. The janitor had spilled coffee on me. I started yelling at him and he apologized repeatedly. Then my dad walked in. He was so mad at the guy that I felt sorry for him. I covered for him, so to speak, and talked my dad into going and ordering me ice cream. "I owe you," said the janitor. "Debts need to be paid. What's your name?" "I'm Ted. What can I do for you?" I had a crazy plan in my head, so I decided to fulfill my dream a year ago. A couple of days later, I told my parents I was going to Brianna's house for a sleepover, and I encouraged my cousin to cover for her silence about the affair. I drove myself to the train station where Ted was waiting for me. "Are you sure you want to try this?" "Yes, I'm sure." I bought a couple of subway tickets, and I went with him far to the end of town where I wouldn't be recognized. "Are you absolutely sure? It's just even I wouldn't eat it," Ted said, but I immediately took a bite of a cheap burger with an unknown composition of cutlet, obscure rubber cheese, and a bun. It was such a high. "God, you have no idea how much I wanted a burger from this place. I would never have been allowed to eat it," I said with my mouth full. "Yeah, the rich have their quirks. You won't get food poisoning." I chewed it with gusto while sitting on the side of the gas station. Ted opened a soda for me and served it. But suddenly, I noticed a car pulling into the gas station, and a woman got out and walked in our direction. "Oh no! What is she doing here?" I whispered, grabbed Ted's hand, and ran to the bathroom. I locked him in the stall and covered my mouth. My aunt walked into the bathroom. "Yeah, I'm here. I have some business to take care of." "Yeah, did you hear about Brianna? Her father found out about her affair with that waiter." "Yeah, she's going to London, and the guy got money and took off. That's the whole affair." "Okay, I'll call you back." I told Ted to shush, and we listened to her go to the bathroom and take a leak. I had never been so embarrassed in front of a cleaner before. My aunt came out. We were standing right next to each other, and Ted took my hand away and said, "Why did you drag me into the ladies' room? She doesn't know me anyway." Shit, that's true. But it was there, standing so close to him, that I saw his beautiful features. I coughed and we walked out of there. I said I wanted to take a walk in the poor neighborhood, and Ted offered to disguise me. "I have a brother who lives here. Maybe I can borrow something from him," Ted said. They put a mustache on me, put on some smelly old clothes and a cap, and I looked like a homeless kid with perfect skin. Ted's brother turned out to be nice. He didn't ask anything. He was just nice. He lent me his bike, and we rode it aimlessly around town. It was a beautiful day. We ate street food, stood under the fountains, learned how to ride a bike, and Ted also showed me the poorest neighborhood in town, where the poor families and children live. The picture shocked me. I took off my earrings and pawned them at a pawn shop, and with the money we were given, we bought groceries and gave them to the families. Afterward, we went back to the train station, got to the bus stop, and Ted said that the waiter was an acquaintance of his, and that what my aunt had said was not true. "What do you mean?" "He was offered money, but he refused. Then Brianna's father started putting sticks in the wheels of his family. The creditors found them. His father had a big debt. Brianna was sent to London, and my friend has had to work 24 hours to pay off the debt. That's the price he paid for the love of a rich girl." It sounded sad. I asked Ted what would he have done in his place, and he said he would have taken the money. I smiled. "Just kidding. If my feelings were real, who knows? Maybe I would have done exactly the same thing. Falling in love with people like you is a known failure," he said, and his words made me feel uncomfortable. "So I'm not meant to be in a loving relationship," I said to myself under my breath, and I kissed him. We drove the rest of the way in silence. I dropped Ted off at his house, and he left without a word. In the evening, my father threw a picture of me kissing Ted on the desk in his office. "Did you think a mustache would save you? I recognize your face among thousands." "Have you been following me?" I asked. My father said that Brianna had a fallout at home today, and it became clear to him that I wasn't at her place, and decided to check. "I'm not going to let you embarrass yourself the way Brianna did, dating a bum and ruining my image. No way!" he yelled. I freaked out. "How dare you say that? Don't you think poor people are people too? Ted's not a bum, he's a waiter." "Who cares? Have you thought about our reputation?" "I don't care. I don't want to live like you lived with my mother. Did you ever even love each other? Is that why she ran away from you? She couldn't stand your cheating." "You're out of line. You crossed it a long time ago. I don't want to live with a money tyrant like you." "Well, where will you go? Sleep outside?" I went toward the door, and Dad said to leave my credit card and cash. I left almost everything. I got out with my stuff and took a cab to Ted's. To say he was surprised was nothing. We stayed up all night talking about it, and Ted promised to help me. I learned to do the floors and the dishes, and it was fun. Ted and I got to know each other better, and one night we decided to celebrate my first paycheck. We went out for a walk, and I noticed a familiar silhouette. It was Brianna and her boyfriend. "What are you guys doing here?" I asked. At first they were scared, and then we led them to our house. "But your boyfriend?" "I told him to take the money. I flew here with that money." "But your dad? What about him? They don't take people without money for people, and I don't have any money either, so I'm no match for him. We're engaged." She showed me the ring, and it was so sweet. I hugged her, and Ted brought out my fake mustache and suit. "I think you could use it," he said, and Brianna took it. They said they would go far away to a friend or an acquaintance and live there for a while until it subsided. Ted and I sent them away and sat down to drink some juice. "Yeah, my cousin's braver than I thought," I said, and Ted laughed. "I didn't expect that from my friend. Apparently he likes her a lot," he said. "Yeah, just like you do me," I said to myself under my breath. Ted heard that, and he came over and kissed me, and that was the beginning of a beautiful story. A complicated but so beautiful story. Hi everyone, my name is Samantha, and I recently learned a secret, and quite unexpectedly. This secret could have changed my life before, but for some reason it was carefully hidden from me. But now, everything has become different, and you will understand why. In the meantime, make yourself comfortable, don't forget to put likes, write comments, and subscribe to the channel. Perhaps you have heard about life in ordinary American schools, that there are class divisions. In principle, it is everywhere, I think, but it seems to me that in my school, this sucks more pronounced. Let me introduce you to this a little bit. In my high school class, there are girls like Edna and her entourage, 3 rich friends who are inseparable. They have money, popularity, looks, and boyfriends. They love gossip, dancing, clothes, and taking pictures. Then there are girls like Susie, cute girls. They study well, never wear makeup, and do not meet with guys, or with anyone at all. There are 3 of them in my class. Then there is the majority. Girls from middle-class families. They sometimes do well, sometimes poorly in school. Some meet with guys, some even with girls. They sometimes hang out, sometimes get into anything, but more often, their lives are like Groundhog Day. The same every day. Well, then there are those like me, a hermit. I'm the only one like that here. I don't have good grades, friends, I hate gossip. I don't have a feminine sense of style. I don't care about money. All I want is to be ignored for the rest of my life. You ask why I live a life so boring? It's not boring. It just makes me feel more comfortable. When no one interferes with my personal space, I feel good. Then I do not have panic attacks, and in general, I like to be alone. It's not that I'm not good at making friends, okay? Well, maybe a little. Well, it's not about that now. In general, I've always been like this. My mother often asked me why I didn't go out, walk, or get acquainted with people. And since I've been in high school, she's been asking more and more about guys, if I have anyone. I know she's worried about my orientation, but I have a tradition with this. But how can anyone like a girl who goes around in a t-shirt, top shirt, white jeans, and sneakers? And all the time. I've never worn a skirt, although I wanted to. I keep thinking that I have fat legs, and even though my mother says that I hide an awesome figure, how can I trust my mother's words? I mean, they're not objective, right? As for my father, it's all bad. My dad was never any different. He's so simple, always indulging mother. He works, but I don't even know where. My father is a good man, but he's boring. I have no idea how my mom lived with him for so many years and didn't go crazy. But one day, I learned something. This secret changed my entire consciousness and influenced my future. Once again, my mother asked me why I didn't go to Ellie's party. She was our neighbor. She moved into a new house a few blocks away and gathered all the kids she knew to hang out. But I said I had homework to do. But my mom insisted. She said I should relax a little. Okay, I went there without wanting to. There were a lot of people at the party, all jostling, dancing, but I didn't care for it. I found a spot by the pool, took some punch, and sat down where no one could touch me. Then a guy came up to me. He called himself Alex. We started talking, and after he heard my last name, he asked what my parents' names were. After answering, he began to shake my hand, said that he had long wanted to meet me. I thought he was crazy. Alex ran away and after 20 minutes came running with friends. They surrounded me and began to get acquainted. I didn't understand what was going on and tried to run away from there, but they caught up with me. And when I asked them if they were confusing me with someone else, Alex asked me if I wasn't going to the races. What races? Well, the White Wolf race. Who? They grabbed me by the arm, put me in the car, and took me somewhere. I didn't understand what was going on at all. And then we arrived at this place. A field opened up in front of me. There were so many people there. People cleared the track and stood on the sides. It was a real race without rules. It smelled of burnt rubber and gasoline. We took our seats at the very end and watched. 2 cars were standing at the start, and after the whistle, the fight began. There were dangerous stunts, but in the end, the white car won the black one. Out came the winners. My parents. What? Alex happily patted me on the shoulder and said, "They won again. Man, I love your dad." I was in shock. After everyone had left, I went over to them. Can you imagine the look on my dad's face? All my life, I thought that he was this quiet guy, but it turns out that he is not just a racer, but a street racer, and more than that, he is the king of the White Wolf gang. This gang is engaged in local shady affairs, and sometimes arranges this kind of race. And I only found out after 17 years. There was a lively conversation at home. I'm the king's daughter, and in real life I'm a loser? My parents were silent. They looked at me guiltily and explained this by saying that they did not want to involve me in the other side of their lives. Well, no, now you just have to tell me, I told them. Since then, it has been several months. I managed to participate in some of their cases. Once I went back to watch the races. Only I did not go, but I was in the first row. I was introduced to many people, all of whom respected my parents, and it gave me so much confidence. In general, I became more relaxed, changed my style, still wore jeans, cut my hair, and painted my lips red. Now I wasn't on the list of losers at school because I was the king's daughter. Just like that, you're living your life, and then you learn something interesting about your ancestral life. Tell me, have you ever found out a secret about your parents? And how did they react to this?